Rob, Luke, everyone else watching this video, my name is Gerald Dupuy. I'd like to say hello from Michigan, in the United States. I am entering your water wheel competition. In trying to stick with the spirit of the channel, I tried to make this water wheel using as many recycled or reclaimed parts or repurposed parts that I could. What I had when I started, aside from a multimeter, soldering iron, and a pack of diodes, was a blower motor. I had changed the blower motor, fan motor out in my car, and now I had a blower motor that had a squirrel cage fan on it. The water wheel was heavily inspired by your video 1447 on the Poncelet water motor, or water turbine, so that's what I decided to make. I couldn't do a full shaft through the water wheel because this particular squirrel cage, it had a flat on the hole going through it, so I'd have to grind an entire flat through a rod just to fit it on there. And I had to come up with another method. Using a hacksaw, I cut off the little rod spindle from the fan blower motor, and I had a 3D printed rod that I was going to use as a kind of like a axle. I took that, drilled a hole in it, and stuck the little shaft I got in that hole and JB welded it in place, and that was one half. The other half had to go on a stepper motor. I needed to get one. So on an online marketplace, I found a lady was selling a printer for $10. And I figured that's good. I can reclaim some stepper motors, get some smooth rods, various other parts and components. I went and purchased it. She said it was in her basement. She had hurt her foot, so she couldn't carry it. Could I carry it? Could I go get it and bring it to my car? Little did I know that this was a full color laser jet printer that weighed over 80 pounds. Whew, that was a fun trip lifting that, but I got lots of parts off of it. So far I've got 7 stepper motors, and I just found another one today in there. I gotta get 2. So I used the stepper motors from that. You have a video all about converting stepper motors to generators. That gave me all the information I needed on the stepper motor and all the information on making bridge rectifiers. And so those were 2 things that I were able to reclaim. I then needed capacitors. There's no store around that for me to buy them, so if you take apart a CFL light bulb, I had a few that were burnt out, you get a little circuit board. Had a couple decent capacitors on it. So those are the capacitors I used. I reclaimed them from that. Then I needed an LED. Didn't have an LED. So I went to a dollar store, and for $1 bought one of these solar powered yard lights, a little stake you put in the ground. Well, I only bought it for the LED. Took the LED out of that, so that was technically reclaimed, even though I purchased it to reclaim it. But here's the water wheel in all of its glory. I've got it here. There's a little shaft I put on it. I'll spin it around here. So the stepper motor here, just a little bracket to hold it in place. I cut a notch in the wood. Bridge rectifiers are beneath this tape. They're wired in series to increase the voltage. These are the little capacitors I reclaimed from the CFL light bulbs. The wiring I reclaimed from the printer. If I spin it by hand, you can see it lights up. And it's not hard to spin. But I'm going to switch over to some footage of it running outside. I had a little bit of plexiglass here with a slot cut in it to kind of protect the motor from getting water damage. And other than that, that's my entry. Well, I think that's going to be the end of my video. I know I'm not very strong on my on-screen presence, but I would really like to thank Rob and Luke and Elegoo and everyone who's watching this video. It's been a pleasure, and good luck.